Hello everybody and welcome to another video by me, Rommel's Love Child, and welcome to any new subscribers, and hello to the old familiar ones. Okay, so today we're going to look at the first few tanks that you get, the Tier 1 tanks that you'll take into the proving ground and then beyond. Okay, we'll start off with the Leichttraktor, the German Tier 1. You can tell it's a light tank because of that little symbol in the top hand corner, that diamond. Okay, the medium, British Medium 1, you can tell it's a medium because we've got the diamond with a line through it, diagonal line through it. Okay, the medium though is a very strange tank, and we'll talk about it more later, because it's actually got the weakest armour of all the tanks in Tier 1. In fact, maybe even the weakest armour in the entire game, if I recall correctly. But we'll talk about that later. Okay, so we've got all the different nations: Japanese, the Czechs, the Germans, the Chinese, French, and so on. But we'll start off with the German Leichttraktor, which is one of my favourites. Probably plays more like a medium tank than the others. Okay, we can have a look at the stats. It's got reasonable good view range. The arm is alright for the tier. The speed is pretty good. You know, you got a choice of two guns. One of them's in autoloader, it's a rapid fire gun, and the other one is one that reloads in the standard way. Okay, the rapid fire one has some issues for me. Its range is shorter, so it can't hit targets that are far away, and it's certainly not very accurate in a long range, which is why I prefer the bigger gun. Okay, the MS1, again, you can play this like a medium tank, so it's like multi-role tank. And compare it to the Leichttraktor. You know, we've got differences in the armour, we've got differences in the speed, but they're still pretty similar. In fact, most of the tanks are pretty similar at Tier 1. Again, you get a choice of two guns, and again I go for the top one here because I like the accuracy and the damage it gives. So it makes it a pretty useful tank for your first tank. Next up is the American T1 Cunningham, which as we can see is a lot faster. In fact, it's the fastest tank at Tier 1. The arm is average, not too great, but I have known it to take quite a few shots by people hitting the tracks. Okay, you can see the tracks are quite big, cover most of the body, and sometimes if you're lucky, the enemy's shot will hit you on the tracks and not penetrate. But this is definitely best played as a light, running around nice and fast. And again, you've got a choice of two guns. They're pretty much the same gun, but one of them's got an autoloader on, so it will fire 5 shots in its magazine before it needs to reload. But then you're going to pay with a longer reload time for it. So it's up to you. It's very good for getting up close and brawling with a tank, so you can put out a lot of damage very quickly and then run away using the high speed of this tank. Okay, moving on, we have the Renault FT, okay, the French one, and we'll notice this is getting better armour now, and certainly in its turret armour is a bit thicker, so you want to probably hide the lower part. Okay, down here you want to hide this area and just leave that area sticking up as your target, because whereas it's only a couple of mils, it will help bounce it. Again, we've got the NC31, the Chinese tank, exactly the same. You know, as you can tell by the design, some subtle differences in the slight shape of the tank and the armour layout and the guns and so on, but very, very similar. Okay, and these tanks, and the Otsu as well, you can play them like a medium or a heavy kind of tank. Okay, they've got probably the better armour. They're slow though, in general, but they've got pretty good guns, especially the NC31. In fact, I think the NC31's gun is very good. I think this is one of the best, in my opinion, best Tier 1 tanks. But not quite as good as the Otsu. I really like the Otsu because you'll notice it has significantly more armour than all of the others. In fact, it's almost double that of the medium one. However, if we look, compare it, there you go, to the NC31, the hull armour is better, but the turret armour is actually weaker. So in this tank, it's almost a better idea to show your hull rather than your turret. Again, choice of two guns. You probably don't want to go for the autoloader. You almost certainly want to go for the top gun on this one, because you're not going to get in, certainly if you're playing on mines, you're not going to get in close enough to use that auto cannon properly. Because it's a very, very slow tank. And that's the disadvantage of this. It's got a slow tank, it's got not so great gun elevation, but you can bounce a lot of shots. Lastly, we have the Dalek tank, or the booby tank. As you can see, it's got these like boobs appendages on it. It's a bit like a lunchbox in design, very square. I'm not a big fan. armour's nothing to write home about, you're not going to bounce many shots, so I'd play this like a sniper tank, perhaps. Keep it towards the back, fire support, rather than getting in there and brawling. Because with the size of it, and with the lack of armour, you're gonna take some shots. So don't go and put yourself in harm's way in this, because you'll die very, very quickly. Now back to the British Medium Mk.1. Okay, as you can see, it's quite a large tank. It's got more crew than all the others. It's got 5 crew members compared to the Leichttraktor, which has got 3, and all the others, which have only got 2 crew members per tank. So it's got the most crew. Doesn't make too much of a difference. But the lack of armour is really telling here. Plus the lack of speed and mobility. It means that you're not gonna be able to go onto the front line and brawl and play it like a true medium. In fact, I would definitely play this tank as a sniper tank, like a tank destroyer. You want to hide at the back, you want to not get seen. Because if you get seen in this, especially up close with auto-loader tanks, they can rip you apart very, very quickly. Advantage is this gun. Look at that for the damage and penetration. Okay, that can cause a lot of damage. Almost one shot, a lot of tier 1 tanks. You get hit by that and you run away. If you look at the high explosive one, you look at the penetration, it's good enough to penetrate a lot of tier 1 tanks, and the damage it does is phenomenal. Okay, you can definitely one shot or almost one shot a lot of the tier 1 tanks. Very, very dangerous, so you can at times use that high explosive ammo, and we'll talk about that in another video, the difference between the ammos. So just to reiterate, when you play this tank, play it like a tank destroyer. Don't get seen, don't get shot. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. If you've got any suggestions of what you'd like to see, please let me know. I'll give you a shout out. And keep playing World of Tanks, keep improving. Alright, take care. Ta-ra.